Hello everyone, this is Mr. Smith and I'm here today to talk with you a little bit about some of the strategies that we've been using in class to talk about comparing fractions. One of the things that students have used a lot in class is we've made this handy fraction chart using our fraction strips. And what the chart shows at the top, we made a Hershey bar, and you can see that it shows it's one whole Hershey bar, so it goes from 0 out to 1. And then underneath the Hershey bar, it's divided up into different fractions. Underneath the Hershey bar, the first thing you see is it's divided in halves, and you can see 0 halves, 1 half, and 2 halves. And then it's divided into quarters, eighths, thirds, and sixths. Each student has one of these charts in their math folder that they can use. And what they do with this chart is if you look at anything on the chart going down the columns, it shows fractions that are equivalent or equal to each other. On this side, you see all the fractions equal to 0. On this side over here, you see all the fractions that are equal to one whole thing, where the numerator and denominator are the same. And then right down the center are all the fractions on the chart that are equivalent or equal to 1 half. We have 1 half, 2 fourths, 4 eighths, and 3 sixths. So when students are putting fractions in order, they can use this chart as a reference, and they can find any fraction that's located on here and compare it to another fraction to see which one is greater and which one is smaller. And they can also look down the columns to find equivalent fractions. The other way that we've talked in class about identifying fractions that are equivalent and also putting fractions in order is to start by comparing the fraction to 1 half. So we look at the numerator and denominator, and we've talked about the fact that any fraction where the numerator is half of the denominator, that fraction is going to be equal to 1 half. So likewise, if you're trying to figure out if a fraction is more or less than 1 half, look at the numerator and denominator and see, first of all, what is half? If the numerator is more than half the denominator, then we know that fraction is bigger than a half. And if the numerator is less than half of the denominator, then we know that the fraction is less than 1 half. These are a few of the strategies that we've been using in class. Hopefully, if you talk about these strategies with your child while you're working on fraction homework, will help to reinforce those and make things crystal clear when you're working at home and help them on their schoolwork and their tests as well. As always, feel free to let me know if you have any questions at all, and good luck learning about fractions.